Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Fourlane QuickBooks Enterprise webinar today. We are going to be talking about general navigation. I could probably talk about that forever. So I'm going to do my best to get all of that captured in our webinar in our 30 minutes. My name is Alicia Delancey. I'm a partner here at Fourlane, and I'm excited to really go over all of our topics today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put those into the question box, and I will do my best to answer those throughout our time today. So let's talk about Fourlane and some of our four uniques. So we are the #1 QuickBooks Enterprise team. We're super proud of that. We have been since 2010. We are very, very excited that we have 8 of the top 100 pro advisors on our team for 2023. We not only resell QuickBooks, but we also resell NetSuite and Acumatica. We really tried to set up QuickBooks and use it like a full-blown ERP. So we try to maximize it to its full potential, and it really has helped a lot of our clients be able to get what they need out of the system versus having to move. But if you move, we are right here to move with you and help continue support. We not only are experts in accounting, but we're also experts in software. So being able to bridge that gap from looking at both sides versus just one. So instead of having 2 people, one to talk IT and one to talk accounting, we really are bridging that gap and coming from both sides. We are always here to be the strategic partner for change management. So change is hard. We definitely know that. But as we are holding hands together with your team, we really want to be there to ensure that we're reaching our end goal together, kind of walking through things as we complete them. So we don't really go anywhere. We are here to kind of help and support in anything that our clients do. All right. So general navigation. I wanted to just put everything under the sun in here, but let's talk about some of the things that we're going to look at today in our time. So I'm going to go over the home page, talk about the Insights tab, the different centers that are available, and some of the kind of cool things that are underneath those centers. Income tracker and bill tracker, our find, which I use all the time, the search options, and then reports and the drill down capabilities, and even that audit trail. So if you haven't used that audit trail, I will tell you it's probably one of my favorite things, not only to share with clients, but to be able to show people, oh yes, you absolutely did make a change on that transaction, right? So here is our home page. I really, I like the home page. It's kind of one of those safety nets, like it's like home base if you are playing tag, right? You go back to it and it allows for us to see all the icons that we've got turned on, or all the features that we've got turned on that we can use. So not everyone's system may look like this. If we're not doing estimates and sales orders, we may not have these icons, but if we've got it all on, kind of like this sample file, we'll be able to see all the things, okay? There's so many places that you can go to get to one spot in QuickBooks. So I'm gonna go through kind of the ease, right, of what I think is helpful for clients to like get to a spot. But just know this homepage is kind of like that safety, right? And if I want to pull up something, I can click on that icon. But then again, I can also go probably under one of these other menus and be able to get there as well. Okay. So our Insights tab, this is something that I don't know a lot of people use, but as I've worked with like Acumatica before and things like that, I mean, the dashboards are things that, I mean, this is already created for us. It is standard, it's available, so why not use it if it's there? The Insights tab really shows at the company level. And you do have drill down capabilities in any of these kind of charts. So here we've got our P&L, we've got top customers, income and expense trends, all these things that we're really able to see for the company and be able to use them, right? That's the other awesome thing that we can do. So here in my expense chart, if I wanted to drill down on any of these, I can click and magically that report is right there. I also can then click on any of these other transactions, right? And be able to open it up. So it is really nice. And again, at that company level. So if you haven't used the Insights tab, maybe take a look at it and see if it's something that you could use for your business. Okay, so I spend quite a bit of time talking about the customer center, and I mean, it's just one of the easy things, especially for doing like job costing, things like that. So I'm going to go into the customer center. But before I do, I kind of joke with my clients a little bit that I use the old school view of QuickBooks, and I'm sure if you are a user of QuickBooks for many, many years, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say that, but I do want to show y'all. So kind of to me, I call this the newer view. So over here, so on my side navigation, I am now showing that, and I just want to make sure that everyone's able to see this, but you're now seeing kind of that left-hand side view. So this is kind of that newer version of things. And I'm not totally used to it. If you are, that is absolutely great. You have the open windows report and option and all those things here. It's just something that, right, like being able to have more real estate, being able to just see things the way that I like it. So I like to go to the top icon. These are just things that have I'm just comfortable with. So if you see that difference, I did just want to show that's how you move it. And then I also do the open windows. It really helps. So open windows, I can put on my left-hand side. I also have the ability under the window menu to see my screens that I have open. So sometimes you can get like 15 different things that are open, and you have these two options to get there. It also helps so you're not having to go open the same report over and over and over, okay? So how do we get to the customer center? You can get to that customer center by our customer menu, or if we've got our top icons on, we can also get there that way, okay? So our customer center not only holds our master list record information, but there's a lot of things that are in here, and I can use all this information. So I've got the customers and jobs list showing, and I've got my transactions. I can filter to see certain transactions that I want, also by date. Got contacts, to-dos, notes, emails, whole 9 yards. That's underneath this customer. In addition to that, kind of on this summary of the customer, I have these reports that I can click on our blue, like, so these blue words, right? I can click on it and it'll automatically take me there. It's something that I think is very beneficial, so we're not always having to go to the reports and run it. I can just run a quick report of this customer and drill down just by going to one place. I don't have to go to 10 different things to get there, okay? So these are nice standard canned reports that we can use. We also have that ability if we're doing, you know, paperless workflow and attaching information at the customer level. We can see all of that here, any of those attachments and those things, okay? I also am able to customize, right, my columns and what I see. So if I don't want to see the attachment column, I can remove that. I also can see my balance within the customer or the job as well. So not only do I have my customer list, and the customer and the vendor list, it's all very similar, okay? The one additional thing in the customer center is I have the ability to have transactions. So transactions, it's like, wait, I know I can run reports to get this, right? But yes, but you also, if you need just estimates or just sales orders, right? I have the ability to be able to see all this and do some certain things. Like if I want to filter for this week, since I'm in a sample file, I'm out in the future and everything is dated this week, but you can see I've got a total, I've got all the customers of the transactions that I've entered this week, the dates. I mean, it's really nice to be able to see that. And I can also drill down and open those transactions from here. So it's really nice and another way to be able to get information. Okay. I wanted to open up a sales order. I had one that I wanted to show you guys. So I wanted to show you if I went to the home page and opened up a sales order, right? Or from, again, anything, any way that you get there, right, is going to show you the same. But on a transaction, right, I have a whole bunch of things that I can look at and see. So trying to tie back the customer center and the master record information from a transaction, I wanted to show that you have the ability to have this pop out of this gray menu. This allows me to see customer information and then transaction information. And so when I'm at this customer tab, I have the ability to see a high-level summary, recent transactions, and any notes that are super important. So these notes, you can also see those over here, right? Edit my note. If we have notes that are pinned, we can see those right there. So I wanted to try to tie this back so that you can see how everything kind of relates and where other, you know, information flows to. So if I wanted to edit my customer information when I'm on a transaction, I don't have to go all the way back to my customer center and edit that way. I can click my little pencil here and it takes me back if I need to update a phone number or an address or something along those lines. But this is a quick way to be able to update any customer information. And then I can run this quick report
on the transaction just like I can from my customer center and be able to drill down. So it's a lot of, again, a lot of the same things in different places. So I want to make sure I'm sharing that with y'all. Okay. And then on transactions, I've got all the information related to this transaction. So one of my favorite things is the audit trail. And the audit trail is on a transaction, right, in this transactions tab, and it tells me when it was created, who it was created by, and when it was last modified. So since this is a sample file, it's all going to be the same. But if I click on this magnifying glass, I now have the audit trail for just this transaction. And everything in bold here are the things that were modified. And I can see, especially because QuickBooks is date and time stamped, I can see what changes were made each time that transaction was modified. Okay. So I'm just checking to make sure that there's not any questions, and it looks like I'm good. So hopefully this is really helpful. And if you don't use this audit trail, let me tell you that if something changes, instead of going and searching for that change, this is definitely something that is really, really beneficial. Okay. All right, so now I want to show you about the income tracker. So in the customer center, you do have an icon here available for the income tracker. And you can click on that and it will take you to the income tracker. I also have it on my icons, and you can click on it that way or go into the customer menu and click on it here. Okay, so a couple of different ways to get there. So what's great about the income tracker? Well, just as the name kind of describes, I've got all the information related to transactions that are bringing me income, right? Revenue driven transactions. And I can see it all in one place at a whole level, company level. So I've got my estimates, 10 open estimates. I can drill down. I have the ability to take action on the individual transaction. So if I want to convert it to a sales order or to an invoice, I have that ability to do those things here. If I wanted to do something in batch, right? So if I selected multiple of these, I do have the ability to batch email or batch mark as inactive, right? So I don't have to go one by one by one. I can come in, use the income tracker, and do all these things. So this income tracker is really great to be able to use. And again, it saves time on having to go to all the individual transactions. So bill tracker, the same scenario, right? But just the payable side of things. So I really have this ability to see everything at a company whole level, and I can drill down into my purchase order from here. I don't have to run a report. I don't have to go to purchase orders and find, right? Let me show you how to do that though, if you were. So if I'm on a purchase order or just a blank transaction, save and new, and I wanted to find some other vendor's purchase order, that find button right above those arrows allows for you to select from your vendor list which vendor, the date, the PO number, all those things. So
This is a really nice way, instead of having to go search in a center, right, under the vendor center, under their transactions, to be able to see or to quickly find, right, what you're looking for. All right. So we talked about the home page, we talked about the Insights tab, the customer, the vendor center, audit trail, income tracker, bill tracker. One of my, I think probably what I use a ton, especially when we're doing like file reviews, things like that, is the find. And I always try to get to the advanced find. So Control F pulls up the find to the simple version. And there's two tabs in the find, so the simple and the advanced. I always typically use the advanced, but I do want to show you that using this find, if I type in or select, right, a customer, I can then click on find and I'll be able to see all those transactions that, you know, populate underneath the customer I selected. I can drill down, I can run as a report, or I can export. So very similar to what we can get out of the customer center, but also just another way to get there, right? And I have this ability to drill down. I will tell you, based off of the templates that you use, you can also, so this is an invoice that's tied back to a sales order. The sales order column is showing up at the item level, and so I can also click on that, which can take me back to the sales order. So lots of easy ways to kind of get related transactions. Okay. So our simple find, fairly simple, right? Because I select my transaction type, what I'm looking for, and then I search. Now the advanced find, I typically use this one a little bit more if I'm, trying to find that needle in a haystack and I want to search for a dollar amount. I have that ability to put in a dollar amount and basically use this and maybe something else like a class or a transaction type or a date range. And so if I do that, and so if I go in and say I'm looking at, transactions from 12/1 to 12/15 that have an amount, let's just do, $100 to $12,000, right? And I hit my find. It's going to show me all of those transactions that I can drill down into. And I'm seeing 695 different transactions that I can, like, that populated based off of my criteria. I do not use a Mac, so I can't tell you that. Sorry, the shortcut key for that. I mean, I definitely could Google that for you, but I do not use a Mac. You can also find, so if you have the icon bar like I do up here, right, and it's the default, it's here for you. So hopefully that will help, but if anyone knows, let me know. Okay, let me also see if I can answer this other question. This question is basically saying that we want to write a check or enter a bill, and we want to have add more space to the class column and less space to the memo. So you can make that change. So if I go into write check, I do have the ability, right, to rearrange my columns, the column width here. So you can do that on the screen. Mine typically stays for me. So if you're having any issues with that, let me know. Somehow it will open to that new setup every time. So see if that works. If that doesn't work, there may be some other setting that we might need to look at, some permissions, or maybe just a verify rebuild of your file, or a list kind of restructure that might help too. Okay. So hopefully that answers our questions. So going back to our find, right, this is, again, super, super helpful. And again, the drill down capabilities are here if we're really needing that. You've got your simple and the advanced option. So our search is great. So if I type in, and the search is over here, on my right-hand top side, and if I just type in Dunning, right, and I hit my enter, I now have the search report displayed where it's found 126 results from me typing in Dunning. Those are transactions, customers, and I can see that I've got my blue. So I've got my blue, which means if it's in blue like this, I can drill down to it and open it up, right? In the company preferences, your search can be updated of how often this is kind of available. If it's updated, your search updates like once an hour, once a day, you do have that ability. But to get as much real-time information, if you have it set to like the recommendation, when you search, it's going to search the whole system, right? And return back to you everything that it finds with your search criteria. Okay, so reports, I mean, love all the standard canned reports that are here. I will say that sometimes, right, when we are running reports, I have seen some of my clients, so like memorize a report, or they'll basically like customize a report, but a lot of times the reports are actually that they're creating are actually already here. So take a look at the reports that are available versus having to create and memorize, because if they're already here, you could just favorite and then add it to your like favorites menu. Okay, so the AR aging is a great report that we could take a look at. I've got 1 minute. I just want to show this and then talk about next webinar topic. So if you can give me 2 more minutes, I promise you I'll be done. But we can, on an AR aging summary example, you can drill down on a total. That total will provide you all of those transactions. And then we have that drill down capability to take me to that transaction. So really these reports and those capabilities are all here. If you have a ton of open transactions, it can cause a report to take a really long time to run. And so it's something too that we can help you with, right? 0, here's the transactions that you need to fix to offset. Okay, like I mentioned, I could totally talk about general navigation for hours and hours and hours, but I know that it is 12:30, so thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you learned something very useful and helpful. Our next webinar topics that we're going to be talking about, so our bill of materials setup, cycle counts, enhanced receiving, construction, compensation package creation, 1099 mappings. So if there's anything else that you would love to hear us talk about, please let us know. And thank you so much for joining me today. It is always appreciated.